In this movie, I'll show you how to change the print resolution, which affects the size at which the image prints without adversely affecting a single pixel inside the original file. So here we are looking at the authentic high-resolution version of the image. There's two ways to change the print resolution. One is to go to the image menu and choose the image size command. The other is to go to the file menu and choose the print command. Now we're going to start with the print command, which you can also invoke by pressing Control-P or Command-P on the Mac. Now you can see that I have my printer set to an Epson Stylus Photo R3000, which allows for borderless printing. And as things stand right now, my image fits neatly on a US letter size page. Now notice my print resolution is 1000 ppi, 1000 pixels per inch, so we're packing a ton of pixels, 1,000,000 pixels in fact, inside of every square inch, which is a little bit over the top. So what I can do is expand the size of the image by turning on this checkbox, Scale to Fit Media. And that leaves some room at the top and the bottom of the page. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do instead is turn that checkbox off, and then I'm just going to go ahead and change the width value, let's say to 12 inches. That's still not enough, so I'll just press the up arrow key until I fill the entire paper with imagery like so, which happens at a width value of about 12.8 inches, so I need to remember that. And notice that the print resolution drops down to 759 ppi. And here's the thing, you can never upsample or downsample an image inside the print dialog box. All you're doing is modifying the resolution. So in other words, no pixel inside the image is being harmed. Now at this point, I could go ahead and click on the print button in order to print the image, or I could just click done in order to save this print information along with the file. And notice up here in the title tab that we're seeing an asterisk outside the parentheses, which tells me I now have unsaved changes. Now, the interesting thing about print and image size is that, well, the print command pays scrupulous attention to everything you do in the image size dialog box. Image size pays no attention whatsoever to the print command. And that's actually a really great thing because the print command only affects how the image is going to print to a local printer. And by local, I mean a printer that's either connected to your system or on a network in your home or office. Whereas the image size command affects everything, including how the image will commercially reproduce and how it appears when placed into a vector-based application such as Illustrator or InDesign. So in other words, you have that kind of independent control. So now let's say that we want to change the resolution from the image size dialog box so that it can be placed inside of another file at 12.8 inches wide. Why then, you'd go up to the image menu and then choose the image size command. And you could go ahead and change that width value to 12.8 inches right there. But because the resample checkbox is turned on, we are going to add pixels to the image. And we can see that not only because the dimensions are much larger. Just a moment ago, the width of the image was 9,720 pixels. Now it's 12,800 pixels. And notice this image size value has grown from 186.3 megabytes, which was already whoppingly big, to a massive 323.1 megabytes. Well, that's not what we want, but let's say I just don't notice, and I go ahead and click the OK button in order to apply that change. All right, now what we have here is a very computationally intensive operation, and you can tell that's the case because we have this whirling doohickey for a cursor, and that tells us that Photoshop has not even gotten around to displaying the progress bar. And once it does come up on screen, it hangs midway as we're seeing right here. And now notice that we've shifted to a different part of the image, and that's because the image has grown. And so I'll just go ahead and scroll over to this guy's face once again. And notice down here in the dock area that we do indeed have a 323.1 megabyte file, which is ginormous. So this is the way the image looked before, and it is going to jump around. So I'll just go ahead and scroll over here. And notice that we can see on this screen everything from his eyebrows down to his chin. Whereas if I press Control-Z or Command-Z again to redo the operation and scroll over so his eyebrows are at the top of the image window, we can't even see his lower lip. So we definitely have more pixels, and we technically have a higher resolution image, but it's no better in terms of spatial resolution. In other words, it's not providing us with any more visual information than we had in the past. Plus, Photoshop has had to recalculate every single pixel inside the image, which makes this what's known as a destructive modification. Anytime you rewrite pixels in Photoshop, whether you're doing so for good or not, it is known as a destructive change. And in this case, that is not what we want. We just have a bigger file with no upside. So I'm going to press Control Z or Command Z on the Mac in order to undo that change. And then I'll return to the image menu and choose image size in order to revisit the image size dialog box. And this time, I'm going to turn off the resample checkbox so that the width, height, and resolution values are all linked together, and that will ensure we do not rewrite any pixels. And now let's say, just for the sake of demonstration, I decide to enter in a resolution value of 360 pixels per inch, which is the highest resolution we really ever need. And notice that leaves us with an image that measures 25 inches wide. So we've got a poster-sized piece of artwork, which is absolutely great. Also notice that the image dimensions are not changing and that the image size value in megabytes is not changing as well. So if I click OK, then I'm not going to get a progress bar because I haven't really done anything to the image. Just changed a few numerical values and that's it. And now if we return to the File menu and choose the Print command, you'll see that the Print dialog box is paying absolute attention to what the image size command just did. So we now have a print resolution of 360 ppi. The scale value is 100%. And so now we have the option of reducing the scale value to fit the entire image on the page, or I can just drag this preview around if we want to print a detail of the image instead. And again, I now have the option of clicking on a print button in order to actually print the image, or clicking on the Done button in order to update that image file. And now, if I wanted to save all these changes that I've made, all of which are known as metadata, by the way. In other words, we haven't changed a single pixel. We've just changed a bunch of numerical values. Then I would go up to the File menu and choose the Save command. And that, my friends, is how you change the resolution at which an image will print without harming a single pixel inside the file here inside Photoshop.